Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here coming at you with another trail tip, and I'm going to show you how I pack my backpacking cook system. This is not the utensils, but it's my stove, fuel, boil pot, and everything else. This is right here everything I carry with me when I'm backpacking in terms of cookware. This is a GSI Halulite, however you pronounce it, 1.1 liter boil pot. I like it because I can boil 4 cups of water in this if I need to, although I rarely need to do anything that much, but it is a good sized volume of a boil pot because some of the meals I make on the trail do require the bulk of this volume. I also like it because it comes with a captive handle, and the handle folds over to hold the lid on so it's not banging around. It also comes with a mesh bag just like this one, so it's not banging around other hard items in your pack. I always backpack with these 100 or 110 gram fuel canisters because I don't need anything bigger. I don't need the 200 or 230 or 210, 220, nor do I need the great big ones when I'm backpacking. And this has more than enough fuel for a 1 or 2 night backpacking trip. My stove is a SnowPeak GigaPower with the auto igniter on it. The igniter is one of those luxuries I afford myself. I'm willing to carry the weight. As well as I carry one of these, and this is a little plastic base that sits underneath. You clip it onto the bottom of the small canisters. The reason I like it is when you get this all stacked up and you've got 2 or 3 cups of water in here, you're kind of tipsy. It's real top heavy, and it would be easy to knock it over. This allows me to, and it'll snap in there. I'm just not going to do it for this demonstration, but it gives you a much wider base. You're much more secure and you're less likely to knock this whole stack over. Yes, you can still knock the pot off just as easily, but it gives the whole stack some rigidity. Another reason I went with these particular pieces of gear is because this all fits inside the boil pot, and when the lid is held on by the handle, everything is contained right there. And so when you put this in the mesh bag, you have one of these. Now I have 2 of them. The reason I have 2 is one for my backpack and one for my bug out bag. I wanted to have a duplicate so I didn't come back from a backpacking trip, either get busy or I'm too tired or never thought to put this back in my bug out bag and end up having to take off with my bug out bag and forgetting my cookware. So I have 2 complete sets. That's why you see 2. One of them is always in my bug out bag, one of them is always in my backpack, and never the twain other than this, the 2 shall meet. But the problem is when you do this and you're backpacking and this is in your pack and you're walking down the trail, that starts to get very annoying. So I'm going to show you how I solve that problem very simply and inexpensively and easily, and that is one of these, a terry washcloth. You can go to the dollar store and get these like 5 for $1. You can do this with a handkerchief, but I find that the thickness of a terry washcloth, it works much better. The problem with this just sitting in here is all this metal is sitting here rubbing against the inside of your pot, and you're going to get wear marks on your pot. This is what I do, is I wrap all of this stuff up. I actually wrap all these up in this cloth and put it in here to keep it from bouncing around. So let me bring the camera in a little bit closer to show you how I do this, and I think you're going to find this a great idea. One thing I noticed is there is a notch in the base of this. This notch right here. There's one on all 3 sides of this triangular base. I noticed that when I put a lid on my fuel canister, which I always do just to protect the threads, I don't want to get out there in the field and not be able to mate up the stove to the fuel. So I always carry it with that lid on there. That is a nice snug fit. I don't know whether that was by design or whether it just accidentally happened that way. But When I flip this over, you'll see that it does not fit snug, nor does carrying the fuel without that. It kind of fits snug that way. It's pretty sloppy that way, but it's the snuggest and the most compact this way right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by turning this right side up with these notches up and just place it in the center of my cloth. It doesn't have to be exact. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over my fuel canister. The reason being is I need the volume inside of this curved bottom, because amazingly, this cloth takes up a lot more volume than you think it will. Now, to protect the stove from the bottom of the canister, I'm simply going to fold over one corner of the cloth and set my stove right there. To protect this end, I'm going to take one corner and fold it around the end of this, and the other four corners are going to, or the other sides of the stove are going to be protected by this corner and this corner. And once you fold it up like this, you've got everything in a package that's compact. There is material on all the sides of your stove. There is material between your stove and your fuel canister. Between the canister and the base, I'm not too concerned because that's plastic on metal. And then the whole thing can simply drop right down into there. And you can see I've still got a little bit of room left. But when I put my lid on and fold the handle over, I've got a nice quiet package. Just like that. Again, if you do this just a few times, it's going to make sense. Set this in the center, put the stove or the fuel on it, or put one corner over, start folding everything up, and it doesn't take very long at all to put this all together. Just a matter of seconds. Fold this handle down, fold this handle up, and you're ready to hit the trail. And there you go. That's all you need to do. Now, as you go down the trail, it's not going to make that rattling noise. You're not going to have that metal on metal with those loose parts just bouncing around. There are a couple other advantages to this. Number one is I don't have to reach in and pull everything out, nor do I have to dump it out. I can reach in, and just like I set it all in there, I can pull it all back out all in one shot. Then I can separate everything out. Another advantage is I have the washcloth as a piece of gear. I can use this as a napkin. I can use it to clean up messes, or when I'm done having my meal, I can use it to do the dishes with. So I think you'll agree that doing something similar to this is going to be something that makes your backpack trips much more enjoyable. And when you get comfortable with doing it, it doesn't take all that much time. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share my videos. I'd love to hear from you. Click the bell so you get a notification that I've got a new video up. This is Backpack Hat coming at you with this trail tip. Be safe out there, and I'll see you out on the trail.